Talk to any avid cyclist and they'll tell you that a big part of the joy of cycling is working on the bicycle itself. Not only is it about making it more streamlined and fine-tuning it, really dialing it in, but it's also about establishing a relationship with the thing that you absolutely love. And that's kind of what Flamme Rouge Peloton is all about. This expansion is taking the normal base game and making it just a little bit more customizable and dynamic for the experience that you want. In the box, you get all the accoutrement for 2 new sets of racers, including sleek white and glorious pink. But the thing that really changes things up are the new narrow and wide track pieces, the breakaway start, and the tools for dummy teams. The breakaway start can be played at any player count, though is necessary for 5 and 6 player games. It sort of adds a gambling system so that one player starts ahead of the pack. The dummy team cards make automated riders that can be played at any player count, but as you might expect, gives you a way of playing solo against what is essentially a finely tuned, thick-calved clock. Then there are the new track pieces, which are either added using the new route cards or can be added using the new build-your-own customizable track rules. Do not be deceived by their simplicity. In my review of the base game, I spoke about how the magic of Flamme Rouge came from using simple tools in really precise ways, adapting to the state of the board and your hand, and gambling on what choices your opponents are going to make. With such a simple change as adding sections of the board that are either narrower or wider, you suddenly start seeing all sorts of opportunity and restriction coming up on the horizon, new decision points that are going to impact which cards that you play. And it's almost instantly intuitive within the thematic and mechanical structure of the original game. It just makes the juicy decisions that you make in Flamme Rouge even juicier. While I still think I prefer the game at 3 to 4 players, the added capability to get more riders on the road is nice. Since the base game rules of simultaneous card selection still apply, turns don't last that much longer and more cyclists means more potential slipstream. Speaking of which, let's talk about the dummy riders. Using special gray cards incorporated into an unused colors deck, you can create a Peloton team or one or more muscle teams, which allow you to run solo or just fill up the road. Both of these types of dummy players are designed to run at an even keel, though the Peloton team is a bit more aggressive with its attack card that rubber bands its teammate who's further behind way forward. As for the breakaway start, it's an exciting and clever way to set the tone of the game and make sure that some riders start out ahead, unclogging the otherwise cluttered start line. Players choose a rider to attempt to break away, then draw and bid cards from their deck. The riders who bid highest break away, losing their cards, gaining exhaustion, but start the first round several paces ahead. Like everything else in Flamme Rouge, it's immediately intuitive, aggressive, tense, and fun. Lastly, the solo in this game is good and serviceable, and I'm all for just new ways to play the games that we own. But for me, the thing that I love most about Flamme Rouge is the player interaction, the anticipation, as everyone is just waiting with bated breath as to what cards are going to flip and how it's going to resolve. The hilarious catastrophes and awesome successes are kind of lost in solo. So it's totally serviceable and a decent alternative if you're just really wanting to get Flamme Rouge to the table, but I honestly wouldn't reach for it beyond many other solo experiences. Overall, I dig the expansion. It pretty seamlessly allows more riders to hit the road at once. It gives you the awesome pink and white figures. It has an awesome system in it that really emphasizes the strengths of the original Flamme Rouge with the narrow and wider paths. It feels great to just push ahead in those wider sections and to really try to conserve your energy or cut someone off in the narrow lanes. And the solo mode, while it's not my favorite solo game in the world, is a decent alternative, and even decent is pretty great in the world of solo games. That said, it in no way revolutionizes the game. If you are looking for something that really expands on what Flamme Rouge is, or just fixes some issues that you had with the base game, then this isn't going to make enough fundamental changes for you. Also, I'm not sure that if you are never going to play solo and you're never going to play above 4 players, that the narrow and wider paths are going to be enough to make the expansion worth it for you. But if If you like games where the complexity is a result of player choices and not just a bunch of systems going on, then this expansion makes Flamme Rouge do what it does even better. Peloton allows you to customize your experience a little bit more, make it more versatile, give you more options, fine-tune it with a degree of elegance and grace. So if you need to fill more seats at the table, or you're looking for an opportunity to take your bicycle for a solo spin, and you really like the meaty yet subtle decisions of the base game, then I highly recommend that you check out Peloton, an expansion for Flamme Rouge.